and welcome back to Alaska Rural Homestead. I am Michelle, and I'm going to be showing you today how I put away my goat's milk and some basic things about goats. So the first thing I'm going to show you is what I use for to wash my girls' udders and how I do it. So here is, I just got through milking, so here is what I use for their teat wash. It's one of these snap containers because I carry my milk in this bucket here. And all my milk jars are in here. And I've got a little towel in here, and this is all my goat's milk here. Okay, so I put the wash in this snap-on container, the Snapware, and I buy these terry cloth wash rags. And is what I do is I cut them down to a manageable size for me to wash their teats. I love this using the terry because it's soft on their udders. Now, and another thing, I can put this in here and it will not spill or anything like that versus having it in a little wash bucket. So is what I use regular on washing my girls' teats is this lavender, a natural wash. I never use any like Dawn or anything like that because if you've ever been a mother, you know how it is to breastfeed and your breasts get dry if you're going to be using Dawn or anything like that because it actually takes all the good oils out of your skin. So I go for a more natural using this lavender wash. Now, I do kind of vary my wash for my girls. I also use this iodine tincture, just like a drop or two, in their water. It clears out any viruses or bacteria or anything like that, and it's really awesome on the homestead. So those are the two that I use for my wash, and the terry cloth. Now, the reason I put my goat's milk in each time that I milk my goat, their milk goes into a separate jar. And the reason I do this is for several reasons. I don't use a bucket. For one, a bucket, if you don't have it covered, you're going to get dust in there and maybe other unhealthy flying debris or whatever, flies maybe. And it is really essential for good tasting milk to keep it clean. So the second reason I put this in here is this is for my LaMancha. This is from my Nigerian dwarf. This one's from one of the Nigerian dwarfs. And this is also from the Nigerian dwarf. So I can keep track of who is really producing and who's not. And then the third reason is that I've never had, well, I've had one problem where when they were very first bred that I did have a little mastitis in one of them. So it was a good thing that I had them all the milk separated. So I could test it to see if they actually had the mastitis. And usually if they do have mastitis, you will get pink milk. And then I think the very last reason that I divide my milk up like this is because you can get the butter fat tested. Usually the LaManchas have between 1 and 10% butter fat, and the Nigerian dwarfs have between 6 and 10%, which makes it really divine in coffee also. So those are some of the reasons that I do separate my milk into my jars. So I will show you how I go ahead and freeze my milk. Now, I do have a few customers that are waiting for milk, so I'm going to be putting them in these little containers. They like these, and these are just little coffee creamer containers. I do sanitize them. Like I said, it's really important for good tasting milk that you keep everything clean, that their milking station is clean, everything is clean. So this little filter is going to filter out everything because it is really fine, and I just sanitize this so I don't have to use any cheesecloth or have any waste or anything like that. So is what I do. So let's see. We'll do the Nigerian dwarf. I just filter it through here. I just spelled it. Now, another thing. On my lids, I have these leak-proof lids that are really awesome. And I won't have any jars leaking or anything in my bucket here. Alright, so I got that one done. And also it fits perfectly right in there. So obviously when you go to freeze this, you want to leave some headspace, but since this is going to a customer, I am not going to leave a headspace. So I just buy these little labels in the canning section, and I make sure that I put a date on them, and if it's cow's milk, goat's milk, and in this case it would be goat's milk because we don't have any cows yet. Hopefully next year. So I will just put the label on there, and obviously write on there before you put it on here because it's a little bit harder. And there you go. That goes into the freezer, and I can keep them all lined up. So yeah, these are really awesome. So another way that I freeze my goat's milk is in these little bags. They are in cubes, and what I like about putting them in the cubes here is that if you need just a little bit of milk, you know, you can take a cube out. You can also measure it and put it in these little trays if you wanted to. Now these are silicone little trays and they pop out real easy, or you could probably use ice trays. But that's how I do that. Now raw milk is like the perfect drink, but if it's raw, you have to consume it very quickly before it spoils. In the store, they usually have pasteurized milk, which means it takes all the good vitamins out, all the good bacteria, and goat's milk is super good for your gut because of the natural probiotics. Goat's milk is really high in vitamin A, vitamin B, calcium, potassium. Well, that is it for this video. I've got to finish getting this milk put away for my customers that are coming a little bit later. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell and leave us comments. Let me know what you want to see. Thanks for visiting Alaska Rural Homestead.